masks, face shields, and air purifiers. Sure, they're alright. But are they enough to protect us from the COVID-19 virus? Well, I gotta break it to you, but the best weapons against pandemics like these are none other than vaccines. But with a lot of vaccine brands to choose from, the pressure of choosing one is surely difficult. But before making such a decision, do we really know how they work and differ? Let's catch up and learn more about vaccine administration, their different mechanisms, as well as the different misconceptions that we will surely clarify.
Vaccines are like taekwondo instructors. They train their students to fight off evil. In the case of vaccines, they train the immune system in recognizing and fighting off entering pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. Having this advantage, they can easily reduce the risk of acquiring infections in the human body. This training includes the delivery of immunogens. These are specific types of antigen that elicits an immune response. Although for every type of vaccine, there are different ways of receiving them. First, there may be different routes such as injection in the muscle, injection under the skin, or oral administration. Furthermore, there are vaccines which require more than one dose to be able to completely build the immunity, acquire a booster dose when the immunity wears off, and immunization against seasonal viruses.
However, not all taekwondo instructors are the same. They have different teaching methods. In our case, vaccines have different types of mechanism or how they work. First is the virus vaccines. This is similar to how taekwondo students practice on dummies. They become more proficient as the practice goes by. Particularly, virus vaccine deliver inactivated, weakened, or modified viruses that will trigger the immune response in our body without causing the disease. Through this, the cells in our body are already familiar with the virus, that when the real virus comes, they know how to fight it.
But wait! There's more!
What if an assistant instructor on taekwondo comes into the picture? Well, this is similar to a protein-based vaccines. Such vaccines contain only a part of the virus, usually the spike protein. And these vaccines may not be seen as a threat to the immune system and thus will not be able to generate the desired immune response. Hence, adjuvants, the assistant instructors, are usually added to stimulate the antigen-presenting cells to pick up the vaccine. As it is picked up, specific cells in our body then secrete antibodies that can lock onto the spike proteins of the virus. Then if people are exposed to the virus, these antibodies can lock onto the spike protein of that virus, preventing infection.
In Taekwondo, we are not restricted to one instructor. When a teacher is absent, another teacher teaches a course to ensure delivery of the lessons and skills. This is the same for viral vector vaccines. In this vaccine, a vector or a harmless modified virus delivers instructions to the cells instead of the COVID-19 itself. In detail, the vector enters the body and uses the cell's machinery to produce a spike proteins or a harmless part of the virus that produces COVID-19. These spike proteins are then exhibited in the surface of the cells. Then, the immune system will trigger that, hey, this does not belong here. This will then trigger immune response by producing antibodies and activating other immune cells to fight what it thinks is an infection. Thus, it will create an immunity against COVID-19 over time. Meanwhile, for nucleic acid vaccines, a genetic material from the pathogen is used to stimulate immune response. For COVID-19 vaccines, mRNA is used to deliver instructions to the cells to create proteins. Particularly, the cells create spike proteins based on the instructions sent by the mRNA. These spike proteins are similar to what is found in the surface of COVID-19. Once the spike proteins are generated, the cells degrade the mRNA material. The spike proteins are then exhibited in the surface of the cells, and the immune system recognizes that it is foreign, thus inducing immune response by producing antibodies that can readily fight COVID-19. So now, let's clarify some misconceptions about vaccines. First is vaccine effectivity and vaccine efficacy. Effectivity and efficacy are two terms that are often used interchangeably. Both terms are risk indicators for public health impacts, but how do they differ? Efficacy refers to the percent reduction of disease occurrence among vaccinated group in comparison to unvaccinated group under ideal conditions, let's say clinical trials. Meanwhile, vaccine effectivity refers to the percent reduction in disease occurrence in vaccinated group compared to unvaccinated group under uncontrolled conditions or field setups, let's say in the real world.
Next, it should be remembered that different vaccine types may be needed for different population groups. For example, some vaccine types may work on older person and some may not, as the immune system weakens with old age.
These vaccines available to us right now have their own characteristics and abilities in response to the human body. It is therefore safe to say that all these vaccines work towards immunization from the virus. It is time to protect your friends, your family, and most especially yourself. The best vaccine is the most available vaccine. So let's get this shot and end this nightmare together.